Jai Swaminarayan. Today we are reading from Vachanamrut Sārangpur 10. It's a nice short one. It's called A Physical Perspective versus the Ātma's Perspective. Semicolon. Being beaten by shoes. I hate being beaten by shoes. On Shravan Vadi the 14th, Samvat 1877, which is equivalent to the 6th of September 1820, Shriji Maharaj walked with all of the sadhus, all of the monks, from Kundal and, along the way, arrived at Kambdha. There, they settled themselves under a peepal tree. The people of the village then brought a decorated cot and had Shriji Maharaj sit upon it. He was dressed entirely in white clothes. At that time, sadhus, as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him, around him, in an assembly, while other sadhus were singing devotional songs. Shriji Maharaj then asked the sadhus to stop singing and addressed the village folk. In this world, there are two types of people, those who follow the path of righteousness and those who follow the path of unrighteousness. Of these, one who follows the path of righteousness forsakes stealing, adultery, slander, and all other forms of sin. Fearing God, such a person remains within the disciplines of dharma. As a result, everyone in the world trusts them, be it a member of their family or anyone else, and whatever he says is accepted by all as the truth. Only such a person who observes dharma likes the company of a true sadhu. On the other hand, a person who follows the path of unrighteousness is engrossed in evil deeds such as stealing, adultery, eating meat, drinking alcohol, and degrading others or oneself. As a result, no one in the world ever trusts them. In fact, even their own relatives do not trust them. Such an unrighteous person never likes the company of a true sadhu. In fact, if someone else were to keep the company of such a sadhu, the unrighteous person would spite them too. Therefore, one who aspires to attain liberation should not follow the path of unrighteousness. Instead, one should follow the path of righteousness and keep the company of a true sadhu. As a result, one would certainly, without a doubt, attain liberation. Hearing this discourse, many people of the village accepted the refuge of Shriji Maharaj. Thereafter, Shriji Maharaj returned to Sārangpur and sat on a decorated cot on the veranda outside the north-facing rooms of Jiva Kachar's Darbar. I hope the wind isn't too loud for you. It's windy today. He was dressed entirely in white clothes. At that time, munis, scholars, as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him. Thereupon, Shriji Maharaj said, "If one looks at the abodes of God, Golok, Vaikunt, Shvetdvip, Brahmapur, from a physical perspective, they appear to be very far away. However, if one looks at them from the perspective of Ātma's perspective, the soul, the true self's perspective, they are not even an atom's distance away. Therefore, the understanding of one who views from a physical perspective is false, and the understanding of one who views from the perspective of the Ātma is true. Indeed, God and the abode of God are not even an atom's distance away from a sadhu who believes. God is forever present in my Chaitanya, in my awareness, And just like the jiva, the individual, resides in the body, God resides within my jiva. My jiva is the sharir, and God is the shariri of my jiva. Such a sadhu also believes that his jivatma, his individual soul, is distinct from the three bodies, sthul, sukshma, and karan, which are the physical, the subtle, and the causal bodies, and that God forever resides within their Ātmā. Such a sant, such a saintly being, is like a mukta of Shvetdvip, like a liberated being of this abode of God. When one has the darshan, the viewing presence of such a sant, one should realize, I have had the darshan of God himself. A sant who has such an understanding has nothing more to attain. If a person is unable to attain such an understanding, then they should maintain profound association with such a sant. If that sant were to daily beat them 5 times with a pair of shoes, they should still tolerate such insults. But just as an opium addict cannot abandon their addiction, in no way should they abandon their association with the sant. Such a person should be known to be equal to the sant mentioned earlier. Moreover, whatever that sant attains, one who continues to profoundly associate with such a sant also attains. All right, that was a very interesting passage. Thank you for listening with me. So first, Shriji Maharaj delivered a discourse to a village explaining the path of righteousness. I'm thinking about how the word sin was used and how sin was originally meant to be a term in archery, referring to when you miss the mark, when your arrow flies straight but it does not hit the target. So too, we have a trajectory in life, and we can either align it with the source, go in search of that ultimate benefactor of existence, consciousness, bliss. But if we miss, if we end up getting distracted and go by some other path that ultimately leads to selfish attainment, pleasures of the body, then we increase our separation from the source. We should, of course, be very humble in this. Just because we are trying our best to partake in the path of righteousness doesn't mean that we judge others either. We help them as best as we can without judging them. In many other passages of the Vachanāmrut, Shriji Maharaj explains how important it is to look for the virtues in others and see the faults in ourselves. That way, everyone around us can be a teacher in some aspect, and we always have something to learn from them, no matter what. Now, I don't know about getting hit 5 times a day with a pair of shoes, but I assume it's a figure of speech to say that even if, your spiritual teacher is hard on their discipline, if they are genuinely guiding you to a deep place of peace and love and devotion, then, maybe our ego could use it. I hope you enjoyed this passage. Thank you for listening. Jai Swaminarayan.